We'll go for straight for WWE. How did you get the call?
Uh, they were looking for a guy like me for Finlay to be Finlay's sidekick leprechaun thing. And Ken put his name out there for me. Ken Kennedy, Mr. Kennedy, Ken Anderson, put his name out there for me. And he said, this guy's got a good head on his shoulders. He can bump around and he just has it. He can do whatever you ask of him. And they called me uh, and I ignored it. And they called me and I ignored it. And then I got there. I listened to the voicemails, and Tommy Dreamer was working in talent relations at the time in the office, and he kept leaving me a message. Hey, we want to give you a contract. Can you please call us back? Because it was a blocked number. I was like, oh, this is a credit card, company calling because they want to be paid, and I can't pay them because I'm broke. And it was just, he goes, and so finally I answered, and he goes, we've been trying to get a hold of you all morning. I said, yeah, I thought you were a debt collector. Sorry. He goes, well, we want to hire you. And I was instantly like blown away. And it was just one of the greatest days of my life.
Dude, if you thought it was a debt collector, like someone must have thought we could pay him nothing and he'll be grateful.
Yeah, I'm glad Dreamer never revealed that to the office. Like, hey, we just have to pay off his bills and he'll be happy.
So what were there like proper auditions, or were you just like your name was advanced and that was it?
So I got brought in as an extra for a backstage segment in Milwaukee. And I actually heard they were doing auditions for Finley's Leprechaun. And so I said, hey, can I try out kind of thing? And he goes, oh, sure. And I can't do accents to save my life. So I was trying to do this Irish accent or this, that, or the other thing. And it just didn't go well. And I remember leaving him and I left the pre-tape kind of audition area. I said, how'd I do? He goes, well, it wasn't the best. And he goes, I said, oh, and I was just like downtrodden about it. And I thought I was done. I literally thought, that's it. That's literally it. I'll never hear from these guys again. And 3 days later is when I got the call from Tommy.
How was old Dave Finlay taking the whole thing? I mean, was he sort of all for having? I know it was like a bad guy thing, wasn't it originally? But it almost like became like a kid's double act, like pleasing to the younger audience sort of thing. I mean,
Yeah,
how,
so
how
he
was
always
he?
wanted it was his original idea to have that in WCW when he was in WCW, and they never pulled the trigger on it. Um, so they just, I mean, that was a character that Vince was like, obviously, man, I had a plumber at one point, I had a dentist, I need a leprechaun. And so it happened, and they auditioned a few little people, and I ended up getting it.
Were you definitely taken under Fit Finley's wing there, or did you even travel together or talk together much
We never
behind the
we
scenes?
the whole time we worked together, we traveled together 3 days, and that was it. Because he was a producer and an agent at the time, so he would always travel with the other agents. But we were I mean, instantly close. In I don't remember us ever not being. I mean, it was 2 weeks in, and we were inseparable. I view him as my second dad, and I text him every Father's Day, Happy Father's Day, Dad, that all that kind of stuff. So it's him and I have always had a very father-son relationship.
Do you ever remember looking at him and just thinking, this guy could tear my head off if I gave him
Oh
the
yeah,
reason to?
every match, and I loved it, man. And I think that's why I didn't get messed with, because people were afraid that they'd have to deal with Fit, and which was always like, so I was just the little puppy to the big Great Dane.
Do you remember? This is sort of going slightly off killed, whatever it is. It's going off it. Do you remember why he got binned off? Why he got fired? Because I remember something vague, and something vaguely about music, and I just remember reading it at the time, going, "What was that about?"
So they it was a live event then, and he was the agent for the whole live event, and they interrupted the national anthem with Mrs. Music.
Mm.
And some high sponsors were at the event that night, and they didn't like it at all. So I mean, he had to be the one to take the hit for it because it was his call. But in all reality, La Resistance tried to burn an American flag just a few years before, and that was on national TV, and it was okay. You know what I mean? It was a very, very unfortunate event.
Yeah, it's very sensitive because I remember I actually read Chris Jericho's second book recently, and he kicked the Brazilian flag.
Yeah.
Were you even there for that?
No,
Oh,
I remember hearing about that, and it was like a riot.
yeah, I remember reading about that, and he got like absolutely punished, and then Bradshaw
Yeah.
doing the Nazi salute and getting like
Yep.
totally punished. But then a couple of years before, it's just amazing how a couple of years just the entire shift in philosophy.
Can you imagine even having a thought to do that now?
Yeah, it'd get lots of boos. It'd be great.
Exactly. But with social media, man, you wouldn't have a job anywhere.
Mm.
Do you smell what the Rock is cooking?
Enough is enough! Booty poo candy ass! I had him writhing in pain from my sharpshooter.
Rocky! Rocky!
I am not a nugget!
Stick him straight up your candy ass!
I kicked your leg out of your leg.
The Rock!